Welcome, survivors, burnout community, and those just interested. It's Kelly Buboltz, trainer, author, speaker, and your burnout prevention mentor. Burnout is not taboo. It's our reality in this chaotic, fast-paced world. But we're not going to let it drive the narrative to our stories. We're going to do something about it. So let's dig in. If we're not already connected, make sure that you're connecting with me out on LinkedIn, TikTok, out on Instagram, or just go ahead and visit my website for free tools such as my newsletter, the podcast. Go check out products to see how much is a de-energized workforce costing you in the cost calculators, or check out the Trailblazer Summit. In this episode, I wanted to talk about the approach to positivity. So as a speaker, sometimes I get reached out to by organizations for a motivational type of program, or they want to motivate their organization. And sometimes they have a fear of talking about what's actually going on. Sometimes they have a fear of talking about burnout. And some organizations even ask me not to say the B word, not the swear word, but the actual word, burnout. And I wanted to keep the focus on transformation. I want to keep the focus that we had to address some of that darkness, some of that ugly parts of our organization in order to move forward, so that we can keep the focus on not just burnout, but energy management forward for both individuals and leaders. This episode is going to be dedicated to the different positivity approaches that we can do, so it stays away from that toxic side of positivity, and it can be actually motivational and energizing for your team to not only hear, but use the tools. So first, let's go over the understanding of toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is just the overemphasis of being happy or optimistic all the time. And I'm a very optimistic person, so I can shine light that sometimes it's hard for me to hold back. But I also am a realist to know that's not how the world works. So we got to keep that line pretty clear of what is optimistic and what is toxic. And often the detriment of acknowledging real challenges or emotions is key. The toxic side is when individuals or leaders are suppressing genuine feelings. They don't want to talk about burnout because we don't want to be seen as weak, as society calls it. And it leads to unauthentic connection. It basically is, how was your day? Good. How was your weekend? Good. No one's good. So it really doesn't move us forward. It just kind of pushes things down. So for individuals, pushing yourself to stay positive, even in very difficult times, can create inner tension and guilt. It can be felt as shame when you don't feel positive, and this can lead to burnout as the energy that is spent repressing true emotions rather than addressing them and moving forward, letting them go, moving forward is a real thing. I used to push mine down. As an HR person, you always had to be smiley. And eventually pushing all that down caused my digestive failure. So literally pushing it down to my gut, moving forward every day. Eventually my gut gave up. Too much emotion down there. For leaders, enforcing positivity within a team can result to employees feeling unheard. When leaders dismiss concerns or feedback with just blanket optimism or corporate fluff and puff, it can damage trust, and it can contribute to the disengagement that's going on. And the interesting thing is that Gallup research in 2024 just came out that disengagement in U.S. workforce is at 70%. 70% of the U.S. workforce is disengaged in their work. So you can already see that fluff and puff statements trying to keep people moving forward with toxic positivity, it's not working. So some red flags to keep watch on are overlooking legitimate problems. Everything will work out. We just need to make it next quarter. That's what I heard all the time. We just need to make it next quarter. We just need to make the month and it will move on. It didn't, in case you're wondering. It went on years. So overlooking that, it kept going with this exhausting journey that would never end. So you can already see where maybe stopping for a moment and talking about it, how we're going to reroute as a group, as a team, would have been more valuable than everything will work out. That can become toxic. Another red flag to Another red flag to look for is avoiding difficult conversations or challenges because they're seen as negative. So confrontation can actually be healthy. It doesn't have to be just opposing. It can be, oh, this person thinks this and this person thinks that. Maybe if we put them together, we can move forward. Or it can be shining light on gaps such as like cross-department pass-offs. Some of those healthy conflict conversations aren't negative. Another red flag that this causes is it's discouraging vulnerability. When you want to build team trust, when you want to build trust between a leader and an employee, you need to be vulnerable. You need to talk about some experiences that you had that did not go well and how you rerouted. And that gets people to believe in their journey and that they can do it and they can take these challenging steps. So expecting constant cheerfulness is just, it's not authentic, and it's discouraging the key parts of workforce energy management of building trust. So how we can flip toxic positivity is to embrace constructive positivity. And constructive positivity acknowledges challenges and emotions while encouraging solutions and growth. So it's grounded in that realism that I'm talking about. Is we can be optimistic, but we also have to check our reality on what's actually attainable and what's not. And that allows space for difficult conversations and reflection of maybe opportunities where we can grow and practical steps forward. For individuals, constructive positivity enables them to process emotions and really address critically thinking how to move forward in these challenges. It allows them to approach it with almost a growth mindset of what's next? Okay, I figured that out now. What's next? Versus shoving it down that everything will be okay. And now no one's taking action. For individuals, it recognizes that it needs to be a balance between optimism and realism, and that ultimately sustains energy forward on this journey. For leaders that practice this constructive positivity, it can encourage open dialogue and solutions without negating team emotions. They feel seen, they feel heard, and now we can work through that. And one way leaders can do that is they model vulnerability, and they can create an environment where they had challenges too, and this is how they worked it out. And it doesn't mean that the team has to follow suit. It just means that they're showing that they have been there too. And you can have a lot more trust and communication and growth in that moment, rather than glossing things over that, oh yeah, I just figured it out, or that's the way that I learned. And when you gloss that over, you lose all those opportunities to gain energy. Why I get excited about this is because it's all in the workforce energy management programs that we're navigating together, that we're enhancing communication in the expedition of people we're with, that we're supporting that synergy and team trust. And then that workflow gets better because we're having the honest conversations and we're not afraid of healthy conflict. So how you can foster constructive positivity is to validate feelings before offering solutions. Really let them be heard. It doesn't mean that you need to agree with them. It just means that you acknowledge that something is happening. Setting realistic goals while maintaining that dream team, while maintaining that big optimistic outlook and goal is okay too. Breaking it down to bite-sized pieces will help your team see the checkpoints to get there. And then encouraging problem solving, like asking value-add questions, and more on the coach side than the micromanagement side, like, what's the next step? Or how would you approach this challenge? We'll get them to stay in critical thinking mode instead of shutting down into, well, we'll just wait till next quarter. Now, balancing positivity and realism in energy management is definitely a skill. It is simple, but not easy because you need to retrain your own behaviors. So whether it's an individual or a leader, finding balance is key to avoiding that burnout or toxicity that can come with being optimistic and moving the group forward and losing them on the path. So both toxic positivity and that overwhelming negativity can drain the energy, but constructive positivity can refuel it. So when we can create an environment and a space where we recognize that positivity is helpful, but we also need to be real, we can create space to have healthy conflict and conversations, and people are trained to do so that it goes effectively. And when leaders can lead by example, very crucial point here, showing their teams that it's okay to have challenges. They acknowledge that they've had challenges and talk about some of the hurdles and things that they went to. It will help the team remain solution focused. So understanding the differences between toxic and constructive positivity can help you lead forward with more authenticity, and it can support not only the energy, but create this resilience for the long term. In order to do that, we need to acknowledge that motivational speakers and over optimism is actually killing that energy. And sometimes we need to talk about that crap in order to move forward. So to get in that mindset from moving from toxic to constructive, we need to think different.
I know you're not lazy. Most people in burnout are high performers, those serving others before themselves. Don't discount this step today, the action in which you focused on your self-growth. Piecing together the puzzle is half the journey. Rediscovering yourself, energy, and establishing new habits is the other. Do not underestimate the untapped inner strength inside you. Explore more resources on my website to move from zombie mode back to liveliness. See you soon.